Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I know many of you still are snowed in because it is single digits outside in some areas and some places, but hopefully you're all staying warm, staying chill, and hopefully enjoying your time at home with family, and you're not having cabin fever whatsoever, and hoping the kids go back to school. But either way, we're going to talk about everything that happened over the weekend when it comes to all Razorback sports. Of course, getting to Razorback basketball, look ahead to this big week for the Razorback basketball team, as well as some other things going on in the college landscape, what best and worst of the weekend. And of course, getting to all of your chats and all of your questions there as well. But fellas, it is a Monday, and it is Inside Arkansas Live. So how are the vibes here on this day today?
The vibes are pretty good, man, considering as soon as we started, we saw the AP poll drop and Arkansas jumped 5 spots up to number 15 in the country. Pretty good week of work there. No, I'm doing good. I skipped the workout yesterday because I was out shoveling for what I felt like was 7 hours. A crazy amount of snow we wound up getting, but it was cool. Saw some folks building snowmen, sledding, looked like a great time. I didn't partake. I'm too old for all that, but no, I'm doing great. And I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow, which is going to be a fun-filled day for us in particular as we hit the road. It's always good for a road trip with the boys.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be so excited to go to Norman, Oklahoma. I've never been before. That's not like a shot at Norman, Oklahoma. I've never been before. I don't really know. No one's really told me, hey, man, you're going to have a great time in Norman. But I do find myself like eerily like I'm thrilled tomorrow. I can't wait for our road trip. Maybe it's just because I love my boys and I love hanging out with my guys and going to see Arkansas play basketball. And we get to do that. But I am looking forward to the road trip. Looking forward to a nice new week of Razorback basketball.
Yeah, it's a big one, as we know. You mentioned, Arkansas and Oklahoma, which Oklahoma's struggling. It's going to be interesting to see, did they just have their complete and total will shattered and broken after losing the game not once but twice to Missouri, essentially, that they thought that they should have won? Is their spirit broken as they're sitting at 1-6? Or are they going to put up one final fight for Porter Moser and everything? But as we all know, we don't take it for granted because Arkansas's record in the state of Oklahoma has not been great. I know it's been Tulsa the last few times that these two teams met, which I think we're all in agreement that we are glad that is over because that was terrible in every stretch. But now it's actually going over to Norman. So, you're going to have this team and this game in there. And then, of course, there's a team called Kentucky. I don't know if anyone heard about it. It's in all the papers this morning that they're going to be facing them this weekend in Bud Walton Arena. So quite an important week. But as you mentioned, Curtis, being number 15, a top 15 team, regardless of what happens this week, is a pretty nice thing. And I'm curious, I don't know if you have it pulled up in front of you. Has Kentucky flirted with it yet of cracking the top 25? Could there be a top 25 matchup with their win streak that they've been going on?
They are not in, and I thought they might be because they were like second or third on the teams receiving votes. But I see Arkansas at 15, Vandy 18, Florida 19, Bama 23. I think that's it.
Arkansas is the highest rated SEC team. Where's A&M at? Are they in the top 25?
I don't think so.
That's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah, and because I know their metrics are still coming around. They had some not so great losses in the non-conference, but my goodness, man, they're like 16-4 overall and 6-1 in the SEC. It's kind of crazy there, but yeah. And John, you mentioned Arkansas, like Oklahoma not being friendly to Arkansas. Yes, the series in Tulsa. Yes, the last time we went over to Stillwater, it didn't go well. Arkansas hasn't won in Norman since 1977. And it's not like they haven't played there. They've lost 5 straight over there. So, it'd be nice to get back on the right side of things. And in one of the few states that, I think some people would agree that Arkansas is just flat out better than. People always like to crap on Arkansas and put them in categories with Mississippi and stuff like that. That's crazy work. Arkansas clears Mississippi. They clear Oklahoma. They just need to do it on the basketball court tomorrow.
Yeah, there's really not a ton to be gained for Arkansas other than, you get a second true road win, which is something. You avoid your fan base being mad at you. But I think that's the big part of this, is that you really just can't lose this game for what it says. And your fan base is not going to love that. It's going to be a little bit weird if you lose this game. But I do think what's nice is coming off a week where Arkansas plays twice at home and they win both their games that they were expected to win. It's crazy how much better I feel about this team than I did a week ago, when really it's not like they accomplished anything crazy. Now beating Vanderbilt isn't quite the accomplishment, but you just look around the league and see other teams lose, and all of a sudden you feel so much better about your squad. And so against Oklahoma tomorrow night on the road, another opportunity to do just that, just kind of tread water while other teams play big games. And then you have Kentucky at home, another game you'll be favored in. This is a big week for Arkansas, not because these are 2 huge games, but you could look up and say, man, Arkansas is on a 4-game win streak. Now all these other teams are starting to lose, and Arkansas is just kind of creeping up those rankings. Arkansas is kind of quietly ascending to the top half of the top 2 or 3 of the league.
Yeah, and I know we'll talk more about the Oklahoma game tomorrow when it's actually game day and everything. But according to SARACEN, Arkansas is 5.5-point favorites in this game against Oklahoma on the road.
Wow.
And and to be there, I was talking to my buddy Eddie Radosevich, who covers Oklahoma. He literally texted me. He's like, there are going to be more Razorback fans at the game than probably Oklahoma fans. So I don't think the expectation's too high on the atmosphere and energy and everything, but that makes sense, all things considered. So I guess if we're playing those mind games, though, is this one of those games where it's like, if Arkansas, obviously the win has to be the most important, but do you feel better going into the Kentucky game if Arkansas kind of struggled a bit again in one, or if they just blew out Oklahoma, no doubt? Or would it even matter, like regardless of your feelings going into that Kentucky game?
The last thing you said is how I feel. Given who it is, the stage, and what everybody remembers about last year, I don't think it's going to matter either way. So I just assume Arkansas goes over there and takes care of business tomorrow night and gets this one done here. Yeah, it's going to be crazy for Kentucky anyway. It stinks that we're not getting College Game Day for that. I get it. If you're not going to come to Arkansas, Kentucky, maybe you should go see the top 2 NBA draft prospects in the country going at it. All right, fine. I'm not too mad about it. But yeah, that's going to be a primetime marquee game. The crowd is going to be ridiculous no matter what. So it doesn't really matter to me what Arkansas does. Now, I do wonder about the Kentucky side of it, because they go to Vanderbilt tomorrow. I kind of hope they win. I hope they go down there and pop Vanderbilt on the road, because then they will have won 6 straight. Both of these teams will have been at 6-2 in SEC play, and it's just more of a headliner type of matchup in there. So I kind of want Kentucky to take care of their business too.
Yeah, I like what you said about how it shouldn't matter. What you do on Tuesday should not affect the mentality you have going into Saturday, especially with 20,000 fans there. Such a big opportunity for your team on a national stage, but we know it will. This team, they don't really handle a lot of success well. Anytime they have a signature performance that we're like, oh, hell yeah, that was awesome, there's usually a little bit of a letdown on the other end of it, whether they win or not. And so if you look at the betting line, it's 5.5 points, it's kind of predicting Arkansas to win, but not do it in a super impressive fashion, which honestly, if you look at Oklahoma and the way they've played, it's not like they've been getting blown out a ton. Weirdly enough, their most lopsided result was against Mississippi State, who beat them by 19. They played Bama pretty close. They played Missouri pretty close on the road. They've had a lot of tough games. So I really would be surprised if Arkansas just beat them by 24 or something like that. And I will be honest with you, I would be a little bit concerned about how motivated Arkansas would be if they had A+ performance and just put it on Oklahoma. I'm not saying they would just lollygag through the Kentucky game, but I'd start to be a little bit worried because we know with this team, when they do something well, they like to pat themselves on the back a little bit.
To your point right there, that's why I feel better about this Oklahoma game than I have, because I think the scenario playing out is exactly what Arkansas needs. You played a bad LSU team at home, and they pushed you to the brink. It's like, it doesn't matter where you're at or who you're playing. Like, you've got to show up. You understand that now. And I like that Oklahoma got drilled with the buzzer beaters over there. I like that. You don't want to be they've lost 6 in a row. You don't want to be the team that breaks that streak for them. That just can't happen. That adds more motivation to me. Had they won, then nobody's talking about the struggles they have. I don't know. I just feel like this adds a little bit of pressure, and in a game where otherwise you wouldn't really have any. And so I'll take that for Arkansas here. And here's the funny thing about it. If Arkansas wins this basketball game, it's a quad 2 win that'll go on the resume. If they lose this basketball game, it's a quad 1 loss, because Oklahoma's right on the cut line. So there you have it.
Man, see that, and that's what's going to make it so fascinating for this too. And again, you have to get through this game, and I think we all believe Arkansas will, and hopefully they do, and hopefully there's no struggles or anything like that. Just take care of business. But I think that's where, because I thought about it a lot over the weekend. I'm not overlooking Oklahoma, and even if I did, who cares? I'm not on the team. Like, that's not my job. But it's like, the thing that Cal brought up, and you mentioned it, Curtis, the team hasn't come out and felt motivated or felt like, this team's just going to roll over and die, or, whatever it is. That's been a thing that Cal has mentioned many times. You don't want it to be the case. You're fighting against the case, and you want to break them of that, but it's just been the reality. And after thinking about that a lot more, that's why I don't feel like it matters really what happens in this Oklahoma game as far as my personal feelings on the Kentucky game, because I'm like, there's not going to be a situation where Arkansas goes in that Kentucky game thinking that Kentucky's going to roll over and die. Like, Cal's not going to allow that at all. And the team is not going to allow that. You don't think DJ Wagner still has some serious motivation? You don't think, Trevor Brazile was on the team last year and all that, when you don't think Carter Knox, all those guys, like, that's what makes me feel better about it in a weird roundabout way. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee win, but as far as just being ready for that game and motivated for that game, this isn't one. Like, I think it's great that Kentucky has won as many games as they have for Arkansas, because if it was a deal where they were 2-6 or 2-7, like it was looking like they could end up being, I'd be like, oh man, they're going to go in there thinking they're going to roll over. If it's like, I want Kentucky to beat Vanderbilt, like you said, and that would put them both tied and both really flying high and knowing all the motivations. I'm like, because the more motivation, the more pressure, the more energy that Arkansas needs to have against the team, I feel like they're going to have against the team, and I feel like they're going to come out on top. So in a weird, psychotic, weird way, that's my mindset of how this game needs to go. And I think Arkansas is going to be fine against Kentucky when it comes to their motivation, at least.
Does tomorrow qualify at all as a trap game, like a look ahead spot for Kentucky?
I think so.
It's not like Kentucky's, again, like they're not ranked in the 8th, but we all know what the game means and everything. It probably means more to Cal than it does the guys on the team. I'm sure like DJ still cares and everything, but I guess that's one thing to consider, because you're right. Like, we can talk about whatever we want because we're not on the team. It's fine, but it's kind of natural to think about those things a little bit, especially when the team that's right in front of you stinks.
I also think the difference between Tuesday and Wednesday, it might not be the end of the world. I do think it's a little bit of a big deal, especially when you're having to go out on the road, potentially in snow and all that. It's a pretty quick turnaround. And so, you don't really have too much time to sit there and think about yourself from a big picture standpoint and think, oh, we got Kentucky on Saturday. It's like you just have to go out there and play. I also think it's going to be huge on the other end of it. If Arkansas is able to get by this Oklahoma team any way, shape, or form, you win by 2 on a buzzer beater or whatever, flush it and move on. You've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to kind of get into that mode. And then, of course, allow all the guys like us to start hyping this thing up. By the time Friday night, Saturday rolls around, we're going to be absolutely buzzing. And I think having that extra day of promo kind of helps.
Yeah, and it's going to be awesome, which I know like this week's going to be fun for many reasons, because, again, not only are we going to be going to the game tomorrow, but Friday even, like we're going to have Inside Arkansas Live at Goat Lab Red, 1214 North Garland Avenue. So it's going to be buzzing for that reason of leading up into it and the excitement surrounding it. And that's where it's also, and again, I know we'll talk about as we get closer, but knowing, to your point about the trap game, that'll be something to where because Vanderbilt's good, and it's at home. So it's not like, oh, it's a bad loss for Kentucky. They lose to Vanderbilt on the road. But if they come out flat and looking like crap and like get just destroyed from beginning to end, is it because that Kentucky's just a bad team and Vanderbilt's that good? No, but I think it really showcases that maybe the whole trap game situation played a factor into it. And if that's the case, I know how you guys feel about Mark Pope. I don't know if Mark Pope has the mental toughness and capacity to like overcome letting a trap game happen. I'm serious about it, because it's just like he's going to come out and just be, and he's going to play up that card so much. I think he's going to overextend it a little bit, where people are going to be like, hey, buddy, just shut up. You lost to Vanderbilt. Like, I know the Arkansas game matters, but you're going to be so over dramatic. And I just don't know. I just don't see him as somebody that is built as a head coach to handle the pressure from last year, especially, but now knowing like, dude, you twice in a row. And if you beat Vanderbilt, because I guarantee you, if Kentucky beats Vanderbilt, the vast majority of Big Blue Nation is probably going to come into Budweiser Arena thinking like, hey, this is going to be our get back. We're flying high. We're playing really well. We're motivated. We're going to do this. And I just don't think they have the coach to make that happen. I just really don't.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't shown that so far with some of the the extremes of reactions that he has for better or for worse with that team. But yeah, it's I'm going to be really fascinated to see what the pulse is from BBN just as much as Arkansas going into this game. But they seem cautiously optimistic to me right now, because they've won these 5 at Tennessee is a really nice win. But like you kind of piddled around with Texas at home, you piddled around with Ole Miss at home. It seems like they're beating the teams they should, but you're wondering how much they're going to be able to level up. And it's a hell of a week for them with this road trip. If they go lose at Vanderbilt, there's going to be a lot of, that's the team that we thought they were, and there'll be pressure on it. He loses 2 in a row, even if it's two really good teams. You know how quickly things can turn over there. It's wild. So,
well, we see this a lot where the narrative can outweigh the results. Where with Kentucky, they've won 5 games, and you look at it, not a ton of crazy impressive performances, but they're telling themselves, hey, 5-game win streak. We're rolling. We're finding our groove. We've overcome all these obstacles. We fought like hell to get through this 5-game win streak. And it's the same on Saturday, where in the reality, it's 2 SEC teams, both of which who have good records, both of which are pretty similar in terms of how good they are. Like, I think Arkansas is better, more talented. They got a better resume right now, but neither team is vastly better than the other. So it's not like life or death if you win or lose this game in a nutshell. It's just 2 SEC teams. One's going to win, one's going to lose or whatever. No different than Kentucky playing Tennessee or whoever. But the narrative is going to be so big in terms of, if you lose this game, if you're Mark Pope, it is going to be spun as he can't win the big one. He's in Cal's shadow. He's not able to overcome, and that kind of stuff is going to go alive. And Cal knows if he loses this game, it's going to be a huge narrative thing of, is Pope actually starting to figure it out? Now he's got Kentucky rolling, and Cal's he's still under. Like, all these narratives are going to outweigh the results. But I think both coaches know that, and so going into this game or going into this week, I think Cal is more prepared for this battle of the PR and battle of the mind games and having to kind of keep your team grounded during a moment like this. Because as a coach, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get your team to completely ignore all of that outside noise. And we've kind of seen that with Kentucky, that good and bad, outside noise is almost like the fundamental foundation their program is built on. It's like they hear whatever you're saying and they're going to use it as fuel, or they're going to let it, rattle them. It's a big deal. And I think this is going to be a big challenge for both coaches, because you have to ignore all of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll continue the discussion, folks, here on Inside Arkansas Live. I want to remind everybody that the Drain Masters of Arkansas is going to have you covered, because I know there is a lot of snow, a lot of sleet, and a lot of ice out there in the state of Arkansas, as well as the state of Oklahoma. It's going to melt. I know it probably won't melt for a good bit, because the temperatures aren't exactly going to be helping you out at all, but it is going to melt, which means there's going to be a lot of water, which is going to mean have a place to go for all that draining. And if you have a home or a business that's not set up around the area to be handling all that draining, you need to make sure you have the Drain Masters of Arkansas take care of you, because they're ready to handle all plumbing and drain cleaning needs with professional and reliable service. And it's a very simple thing when it comes to requesting a service. All you have to do, folks, is call this phone number right there on your screen, 479-646-5585. That's 479-646-5585. You scan that QR code on your screen there as well. It'll take you to their website where you can request a service. And when you do, folks, this is the most important thing. When you do request a service with the Drain Masters, be sure to tell them that Inside Arkansas sent you, because when you do that, you get 10% off all of their services. That's right, 10% off. Doesn't matter how much you need, doesn't matter the job and how big it is. They will take care of it, and they'll give you 10% off as long as you say that Inside Arkansas sent you. Anything and everything plumbing related. No job is too big or too small. Drain Masters of Arkansas has you covered. Now, I know, again, we're talking about tomorrow's game with Oklahoma. 6 p.m. will be the tip there. So I love the fact that it's the one early midweek game is on the road for Arkansas. You know, it can be helpful there. But either way, with the weather and all that stuff, it may be no big deal. But still, we were talking about the Kentucky thing with Vanderbilt. We're not worried about Arkansas overlooking Oklahoma to Kentucky, right? Like that shouldn't be a concern, right?
They shouldn't, but I would hope after LSU put a scare into them the way that they did, it was a little bit of all right, we get it. Like, we're going to play another team that's 1-6 or whatever in the SEC, but we've got to, we got to be ready to go in there and play some. And I would hope that after their last 2 showings on the road, the way that they've gone out there and just completely no-showed, that they would understand it doesn't matter who we're playing in this game. It's the next one on the schedule, and we're going away, and we need to kind of buck that narrative a little bit. So I really hope that they're locked in. I don't trust this Arkansas team on the road. I think they're going to go beat Oklahoma out there, but I've said it a million times now, what happened to Auburn happened, and you felt like you could see it coming from a mile away. You get one of those, and then when it turned around and happened again under the same circumstances against Georgia, that's where they kind of lost the benefit of the doubt with me in terms of doing something cool on the road until I see it. So I expect them to win, but I don't expect it to be easy at all. And you take whatever you can get on the road at this point. But I just don't think they're in the position to be looking ahead to anybody right now, and I hope they understand that.
I almost think it would be too obvious. It's like, of course you let down in the Tuesday in front of 12 fans against the worst team in the league, who's coming off a devastating loss and all that. Like it would be really a bad sign if all these guys, because when you're on the bus or on the flight going to Norman, you understand the stakes, and like they've all been told the messaging 1,000 times by the coaches of like, you can't overlook this one. Be where your feet are. We got to focus on the task at hand. Like, if you kind of slip up and give us a stinker here on the road, at that point, I think you just have to believe Arkansas when they tell you who they are. If they lose to Oklahoma tomorrow night, that tells you Arkansas is not a serious basketball team away from Bud Walton Arena. Like, I hate to say that because last week was so awesome and they win 2 games and we feel all good. It's like, it didn't answer the big question we have, which is, can this team go away from Bud Walton Arena and play any version of consistent basketball? So there are kind of a lot of stakes for Arkansas to buck that narrative. I think Oklahoma is the perfect opponent for this, though, because I think Arkansas can play kind of a C+, B- game and still win, and then kind of feel better about themselves so that maybe next time they go on the road, they'll be a little bit, more confident. But also it helps that you're not going to have an imposing atmosphere barking down your throat, which they did face in their last 2 road games.
Yeah. Well, and that was going to be kind of my point to what you guys said, is like, it almost seems too obvious. Like we talk about things in sports where it's like when, like the 5-12 games in the NCAA tournament. And then it's like, oh, this 112 seed, is good enough to be a higher seed, but they got lower in this 5 seeds. Maybe they're like, right there, that's going to be the upset right there, where that 12 seed is going to beat that 5 seed. Just sets up perfectly. And then that 5 seed blows them out by 20. It's kind of like, it's just too convenient. It's too obvious that this could be a spot where it's a letdown. And I'm hoping, we all hope that it doesn't happen, because we know that road games in the SEC, road games in conference, road games in general are tough. But when you go up against arguably one of, if not the worst team in the SEC on the road, you have to win it. Because last year, Arkansas didn't do that. They went to South Carolina, and we all know how that went. So you don't have, I know the SEC isn't as good this year as it was last year. But as far as road games goes, guys, that's my thing about tomorrow, is like, you cannot afford to lose that game, because there's nothing but more difficult games the rest of the way. That's an easy one that you have to take care of business. That's why it was so important to beat LSU. Obvious, but it's like, hey, that's a 1-win team in the SEC. You're not going to get those many opportunities. So that's why you have to take care of business here. Don't mess around. Like, let Darius Acuff do his thing. Let Malik Thomas hit a few, 4 threes. Maybe one of the bigs get involved. Maybe Brazil does something. Just make it to where it's like, okay, business, thank you, let's move on. Like, just do that to where it's not even a struggle or a scare because I'm just curious. I would be I can't wait if that happened with Arkansas still winning, of course. But if that happened where it's a close game or a nasty game in Cal's press conference, just be like, what do you want me to say? I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I just don't know what it would be. So just take care of business. I don't even want to think about looking back on the Oklahoma game on the road, being like, man, that sucked. I hated going out that trip.
We were looking back on the Oklahoma game at home last year. The entire year is like, at least for me, thinking, God, that's the one that's just very unexcusable. I couldn't get over that one. It was like the difference in a seed line. So they need to, maybe you tap into that a little bit, actually. You know, they love the idea of a get back game and everything. And so maybe that, you know, those 4 guys who were here last year could be like, hey, you remember when Porter Moser walked us down in Bud Walton Arena last season? Like, let's go return the favor and go ahead and get that dude fired. How about that? That would motivate me a little bit. I'm with you. Like business trip mentality. You have to, man. You're right. Nothing's easy on the road. But when you have Oklahoma coming up on the road and you have Mississippi State coming up on the road, you look at those and then you look a little bit later at a road trip to Alabama and a road trip to Florida, and you go, okay, these things are not created equally. So yes, handle the business in the easier opportunities, and the metrics love road wins regardless of where they're at. So this is would be a nice time for them to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, it wouldn't be, you know, one of those things where Arkansas couldn't figure it out from a resume standpoint, but the other road games are important because you're probably not going to get an easier true road game. I mean, you're not going to get an easier true road game than this. And speaking of easy true road games, I think it does compare a lot to the Ole Miss game helps. And it's kind of weird because in the moment, we all thought Ole Miss was just completely horrible. And they're a little bit better than that. They're just bad. They're not horrible. They're just bad. But I would say that game has kind of aged promisingly for Arkansas, where it's like, not that Ole Miss has turned their season around completely, but you can see that there's a competent basketball team in there somewhere. And it helped that it wasn't a huge crowd. There weren't a ton of fans there at Ole Miss, which I think this Oklahoma game is a lot closer to that than it is to on the road at Auburn on a Saturday, a very motivated, ready to get their season turned around Auburn team. And you've seen how good they are since they left that game. And so I think for Arkansas, it's not going to be easy, but I do think this game could kind of have a very similar feel to it than the Ole Miss game did, where Arkansas is kind of in control. We don't leave the game feeling great about the performance, where they win by 7 or 8, but you take care of business, you move on, and we never talk about it again unless we're making a point like the one I'm making now.
That's right. That's right. So we'll get to your chats and a lot more, folks. I want to remind everybody, Blue Ember Smokehouse, best barbecue that you'll get here in the state of Arkansas. And the best thing about it is they have 6 locations in the state of Arkansas: Fort Smith, Jonesboro, Texarkana, Little Rock, Hot Springs, and Rogers. It's very convenient to be able to get you some of the best specialized in the handcrafted barbecue in the state. There's no doubt about it. They have tender brisket. They have sides. They even have ice cream that you can have for dessert, which, I mean, we've seen the ice cream, folks. And this ain't just a little scoop. We're talking about a tower of ice cream that you can get done. And I mean, everything's incredible there. And if you haven't been to Blue Ember, you need to make sure you go right away. It's a great place for lunch and dinner. And as a reminder, Inside Arkansas Live, we're going to be there for the first Wednesday of each and every month. So guess what? Next Wednesday, we're going to be live at Blue Ember Smokehouse in Rogers. So come by and hang out with us. But let's be honest, you want to get out of the house, and you want to get out of the house quickly. So as soon as you have the opportunity to do so, go get you some great barbecue. You can also have it catered in to where if you're having to stay inside, have the barbecue catered and then go pick it up, and they will have it ready, hot and ready for you to pick up and bring home to feed the entire family. And they have all different types of options. So if you're looking to have one of these things happen where you go and do a pickup order or even catered or anything, give Blue Ember Smokehouse a call. They have their 6 locations listed there with all 6 phone numbers that you can call as well. Or you can check out their website at blueembersmokehouse.com. And thank you, as always, for supporting your local Blue Ember Smokehouse.
Hey, so real quick, I think this is notable. Nothing has happened yet, but I'm told that there are preliminary conversations, at least, about this Kentucky Vanderbilt game getting moved to Wednesday.
That would be such a shame, honestly.
Like it's still where it's at for now, but we've seen several games that have already been moved, you know, like bumped back a day or whatever. That is not one of them, but I guess it's at least under consideration. I don't know how the conditions are in Nashville or getting over there or whatever, but that would be super notable.
Health and safety of the kids comes first.
Yeah.
And, I'm a big safety guy. I care about these student athletes. Play the game on Wednesday, Thursday, if you have to.
Yeah, honestly.
See, guys, but see, now I just thought about it. I'm like, no, that makes me now feel worse. Because I'm like, that's the type of crap that happens Where it's all young goes bad. It's too easy. It makes too much sense. They'll come in not as fresh, which maybe they don't. But then I'm like, man, it's like that. What was that team in the Big East tournament? There was at UConn that one year that won like 6 straight games in 6 straight days or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's like, I can't. The next day everyone's like, I got to face UConn because they don't have rest, and they kept winning. It's like that type of crap is what scares me. Is that they're just gonna like all bets are off. No one's expecting them. Bet Saracen's like 10.5 Arkansas points, like just making it easy peasy, and then it just doesn't end up being that way. So in a weird way, maybe it's my own, maybe it's because I have gone on no sleep and I am just like wrecking my own mind, but I'm like, I want the game to be played on time because I'll stress about it if weird factors and variables get thrown in.
I mean, I know I'm not the first and I'm not going to be the last to make this point, but it feels weirdly similar to last season, just flipped. And I know Arkansas had a week off, which is the big difference here, because I think that week off really was a huge mental reset moment for Arkansas, and Kentucky wouldn't be getting that. But it is kind of crazy how like a lot of the narratives going in are, very dismissive on the Arkansas side of not that we are, but I just think like by the time we roll into Saturday, it probably will have that feel. I bet Arkansas will be about a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Arkansas dominates Oklahoma and then Kentucky lays an egg against Vanderbilt, I think it'll really start setting it up. And I bet you anything, maybe old Cats, it'll be in the chat. I know you guys are doing the Inside Arkansas or the Inside SEC basketball stream tonight. But I know that I'm sure there'll be discussions about all the things going on in the SEC. But I'd be wondering if people like Cats, if Kentucky lost to Vanderbilt and they look bad doing it, I wonder if the Kentucky fan base is going to be like, see, overlooking them, you stupid idiot Pope. Why don't you worry about the game in front of you? It's like, I'm wondering that's the case. But also, guys, I know, again, we got to get through this game first. But I feel like Arkansas beating Kentucky last year has extinguished so much of like the ramping up of energy for this. Like if Arkansas lost to Kentucky last year in Rupp, I think like right now we'd be just swarmed with Kentucky fans in our chats. And they're just like, are you ready for it? But I think that extinguished so much to where Kentucky fans want it. There's energy, there's all that, but it is like minuscule compared to what it was a year ago.
No doubt, man. And if the roles were reversed here again, where Arkansas had kind of been going through it and Kentucky's sitting there at top 15 in the country, we'd be hearing a lot more. I almost get the sense that it's almost like they're predicating this Arkansas game on when they're going to really start banging beating their chest again a little bit. Cause It's been somewhat reserved. Like there's some of them I see out there. They're like, hey, we won 5 in a row. Look out. Here comes Ortega Owe or whatever. But I think it's going to be tame going to, even if they beat Vanderbilt, you'll hear a little bit more because they would have got kind of a validation win there. But I do think it's going to be so much more tame compared to last year. Now, if they came in the Bud and beat Arkansas, our numbers would go crazy.
Oh yeah.
We would be flooded, man. And it would suck because Arkansas's bye is after this game this year instead of before it. So the entire week we'll just have to hear about it. I would prefer to avoid that, to be honest with you, but yeah, we'll see what it looks like. I hope we get some Kentucky fans in the Inside SEC Basketball Live chat tonight. Tell us how you feel.
Yeah, well, our boy Cats by 90, he's been doing the like reverse jinx thing where he's like, no, just these are all bad wins. We're not good. Pope still sucks. We still want him fired. We're not excited. But you're right. If they beat Arkansas, all that goes away. I do hope Arkansas fans are not as obnoxious this week as Kentucky fans were last year. And I think the big difference is here, and I think we can all agree on this. We all at least see a path to this not going well for Arkansas. Right?
Yes.
Like, even if you don't expect it, even if you do expect Arkansas to win and win handily, you still see a path to where this could go poorly. That's the important thing to remember. Not to be prepared for it, but as a fan, when you're getting into your arguments, you have to at least be prepared for the other shoe to drop. Last year at this time, Kentucky fans really genuinely were not. Like, I did not meet one single guy who was like, we might not win.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what, not to rehash all of last season in that one game, but that's what made it all so much sweeter is just the fact that we were sitting there and like, I was going in, I was like, Arkansas is not going to win this game. I think we all were. It's like, listen, Arkansas's 1-6. They played like crap. They've lost to bad teams like LSU and Oklahoma. It's like, they look like garbage. And Kentucky's flying high. They beat Florida and they beat Tennessee and all this. And it's like, that's what made the sweeter thing is we even had Matt Jones, a KSR. Shout out to Matt. Know how people feel about him, but we're always going to be in debt to him because he was really kind as a host to us over there. But he came on our show at KS Bar and was kind of like, y'all may not even make the tournament. It's like, yeah, at the time I was like, it's hard to argue against it. But when it all played out that way, it was a chef's kiss. So it's not going to be, again, it's just funny to me that there's a chance, guys, that Arkansas and Kentucky will both be 6-2 in SEC play going into this game. And it's not going to be still as near as big a deal as it was last year. I understand why, but when Kentucky was, where were they, like 5-2 and Arkansas 1-6 or whatever the records were. It's like you actually have two teams that have good SEC records. Obviously, Arkansas is better, but it's not going to have the same juice and energy that it once did. So, anyways,
what's going to be the big NBA trade that happens in the post game?
Yes.
LeBron going to get traded to like the Magic?
I mean, seriously, John Morant, or they're trying to get rid of him, but nobody wants to take him. Maybe that could be it.
Would a LeBron Anthony Black trade be big enough for us to get interrupted on the post game where we're like, oh crap?
Yeah. We would talk about that.
I'm gonna go ahead and predict. I think it'd be Giannis because that guy, I feel like he's already been trying to get traded. I think Giannis would be like,
could be Giannis.
That would be kind of cool. But same week as the Royal Rumble as well. So like their history is just, it's almost exactly the day and everything.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool if that just became an annual deal. Well, Arkansas is playing Kentucky, so what's the mega trade that's going to happen? I'll tell you what is going to happen is, Thursday or Friday morning or whatever, we'll hear Jaden Quaintance is expected to return and play for Kentucky against Arkansas. And then it's going to be like, oh my God. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I do hope Quaintance plays. I will just leave it at that.
Well, in my opinion, yeah, the more Quaintance plays, the less Moreno plays. And Moreno is pretty damn good. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's like, because I saw somebody on Twitter when I've been tweeting out what we've been talking about on the show. T says he's just like, I'd rather lose to Oklahoma and beat Kentucky than beat Oklahoma and lose to Kentucky. And I'm like, yeah. Not
even a debate.
Yeah. Because it's because I just don't want to hear. Honestly, guys, if Arkansas loses to Kentucky, I'm going to focus on spring football for a while. So you may just have to carry the basketball load. It's just because I don't want to have to hear about it. And it's just like, I wanted to live in my moment of like having, because, like you said, Andrew, with like Razorback fans, nobody's going to, because Razorback fans are so hurt and scarred from so many things. It's like, they can't have anything nice. So even if Arkansas was undefeated, dominating every team by 40 points up until this point, they're still going to go in that Kentucky game and be like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. It feels bad. It's like there's just no way that they could feel good about it going into it. But that's why I'm hoping that, because once we get past that, guys, if Arkansas beats Oklahoma and then beats Kentucky, and we're talking about them going 4-0 in this 2-week stretch, which was crucial. I'm not saying that a championship bound, but I'm like, man, it just feels so good just to get. We talk about a great January. That would be a very great January to end, because what that would put the record at 8-2 in conference play. Holy crap. Sign me up for that all day long. Please give me that. That'd be awesome. And I feel like they'd probably be first in the SEC unless A&M's still doing dumb things and barely. Like, how sad is that? You're pathetic, you little Luke Gig'em dude. It's like you guys have you have one loss in the SEC and you can't even crack the top 25. Garbage, trash.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's just
Luke's out here catching strays. Man, he's just an innocent bystander, out here catching strays.
Just trying to enjoy his SEC basketball first place team.
Man. I hope he shows up in the SEC stream tonight. But to your point, though, John, and I know we talked about that earlier because I listed off the SEC teams that were ranked in the AP Top 25. If you go to the receiving votes, here are the next 6 teams in order: Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Iowa, Texas A&M, and Auburn. 5 of the 6 next up are receiving votes from the SEC. And Texas A&M is 4th in that group. So,
man, see, that's just crazy. But it goes back to, what was the point, you guys? I think it was last week. I get my days mixed up, but you were kind of going back and forth with old Luke and just like, hey, give us our flowers. It's like, my brother in Christ, you guys have won 6 out of 7 games in the SEC and you're still not in the top 25. It's like, it's like, I mean, come on now. You got to look at it that perspective. So, but either way, we got to have a great week of basketball ahead. Again, Norman's going to be fun. We're going to be there in person. I think we'll probably be, again, according to my buddy Eddie, it's probably going to be a lot of Razorback fans there. But isn't it weird, guys, that if I was going to experience, like, we wanted to go to Rupp when it was like its peak atmosphere, I kind of want to go to Norman when the atmosphere sucks. Like if this atmosphere is going to be great, I kind of don't want to go.
Yeah,
but now that I know I know that I'm going to go in there and just be like, we could probably pick our seats. They may have the hog call might be louder than the boomer sooner or whatever, which will be cool. But it's kind of weird that I would rather that be the atmosphere than a raucous atmosphere there in Norman.
We'll have to go back one day for football, because even if Arkansas is bad, hell, even if Oklahoma is like 6-6, 7-5, I would imagine a home football game in Norman is still pretty cool. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go through this one kind of knowing this isn't the real experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy my time in Norman. But I also know that there's a lot of I've heard more people crap on Norman, Oklahoma than praise it. So I'm not also going in there expecting like the Auburn campus. Hopefully we'll have some time to kind of check it out and see what it's like. But yeah, I'm with you. Go to football. I don't know baseball. I don't even know what there is. But I was looking at the map,
Oklahoma's
guys.
got an underrated baseball team this year. I'll just go ahead and say that.
They still have that arm or no?
No, they do not. I think they might have his little brother. But no, he was like a first round pick. But they're not ranked right now, but I feel like they will be a top 25 team.
Yeah. Well, and I did look up at the map, so it's kind of maybe shows all about Oklahoma you need to know. Like Oklahoma football stadium, their baseball stadium, like their track, their gymnastics, their softball is all in one area. Their basketball arena is like out on the outskirts. It's kind of like,
really?
Yeah, it's like we don't really like them. We're not good at basketball, so you don't get to hang out with the cool kids of what we're good at. It's like you got to go over there. I think it's like Gaylord Arena or whatever it is. So either way, we'll be there though. It'll be fun. And if anybody in the chat or anybody, if you guys are going to be out there too, hit us up. Love to come and meet you. And
Sharkensaw is trying to go.
That's right. Yeah, Sharkensaw is going. Yeah, he told me about that. Our guy Randy from Sam's Furniture is going to be there as well. So we'll have a few people out there that we'll be hitting up and hanging out with. So either way, but we'll get to your chats. We also got best and worst of the weekend coming up as well. But folks, want to remind everybody that the official law firm of Inside Arkansas is Hickey & Hole Law. And the reason that they're the official law firm of Inside Arkansas is because they're the best. We strive to be the best. They are the best when it comes to all of your legal needs. It doesn't matter if it's divorce cases, custody cases, criminal cases, civil litigation cases, personal injury, estate planning. I mean, they truly do it all. And the thing is that's great about them is that they're so communicative. If you send them a text or if you call them up, you send them an email, you go to their website at hickeyandhole.com and you're like, well, those 6 things, I don't really need help. I need some help with some other legal things. They're going to still help you out. They're going to give you the guidance. They're going to let you know about who to talk to and how you can have it handled. They're going to do it for everything when it comes to your legal needs. So if you need any help when it comes to the advice and representation, be sure to give them a call today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhole.com. Scan the QR code right there on your screen. It's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. All right, so let's go ahead and get to your chats because I know there'll be some other things that we want to dive into. Appreciate Hickory Hogs starting off the chat where he says, got y'all in my ear while I shovel my 150-yard driveway. Okay, how's bragging camp? My tractor decided to take a dump on me yesterday, and now I'm contemplating all my life's decisions. 150-yard driveway and a tractor.
Yeah, geez.
Man.
Maybe you need to get out there and get your hands dirty,
Yeah, exactly.
He was inspired by Cal, man. He saw Cal shoveling that snow and was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I need to do the same for my family, my homestead.
Can we talk about that? Like, what do we make of because usually it's Cal taking the trash out is the video. So how do we judge his job, especially you, Curtis, because I know you're an expert in the shoveling of snow of driveways. How did you feel the job that Cal did out there?
Better than me, man. Cal gets after it. What does he say? Mom was a lunch lady. Dad was I don't remember the exact phrase, but he always puts that out there and does the blue collar thing. He'll get out there and get his hands dirty. Shortly after he got to town, he was out there picking up, tree branches and stuff after the tornadoes. And he knows he's got his list of chores. And, when there's a snowstorm, that just falls on it. So he got out there and got after it. Probably paying for it. I bet he's sore. I'm sore.
I was actually so yesterday, me and Hillary just kind of got out and walked around because we were like, we got to just go outside, like just feel what it's like, walk in the snow. And I was telling her, I was like, I kind of wish we had a driveway so I could shovel the snow. Like, I feel like I'm not holding up my end of the bargain as a man. I'm not shoveling snow because we don't really have that at our place, like a place where I need to shovel. And I feel deficient. Like, I feel after seeing Cal, I was like, man, I need to be doing more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think that the best content you get is from following Mrs. Calipari. Like, I don't, I
Yeah.
just,
She's had some good Instagram posts, honestly.
yeah. I still need to download the video and I keep wanting to use it when she plays the fight song and then she hits the little bell with the ding. I'm like, I don't know where you came up with that and why, but it's awesome and it's unique. So yeah, I'm a fan of the unique content there. Appreciate Ryan saying rumor is that 50% of the SEC teams lost last week. Wow.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big if true.
This league is mid.
Jeez, man. That's still never going to get old to me. Phil says Quinn is not a fan of Norman. Well, Quinn's not a fan of a lot of things. Yeah. But yeah, he's definitely not big on Norman. Because you guys said you guys have never been to Norman, right?
No.
Okay. I've been for a quick second because my very first serious girlfriend went there and I didn't get to see the campus or anything, but that was also like 20 years ago. So I haven't been back since, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what it's like. And because it's basically just I don't want to call it a suburb, but it's outside of Oklahoma City. So it's like you gotta, they got a lot of stuff going on over there. So let's see. Seth says, I bet DJ gets to start against Kentucky. That's kind of surely not right. Okay.
That would be insane work.
That'd be wild.
Well, it would be, if they had not moved him from the starting lineup already, I would be like, yeah, no problem. Maybe it'd be the last start of the season or whatever. Now that they've made the move, they're not going to go back to him. I don't think.
If they lose to Oklahoma, they will.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
But here's the thing: if you had a hair on your rear end there, Cal, and you actually started DJ Wagner for that Kentucky game, that dude better go for 25. Like I'll allow it. But if he goes in there and has the same issues that he was having previously or whatever, then it's like, dude, what are we doing here? Because he's not going to get booed every time he touches the ball like he did over at LaRupp, which is still one of the craziest things from last year. I just did not understand the amount of hatred. Like, I think DJ got booed more than Cal. Like, it was craziness.
Yeah, he did. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And by the way, their media people also don't like DJ Wagner. Like, when he would come up in conversations, they'd be like, DJ, overrated. I watched him when he was 14. He sucked then and he sucks now. I'm like, all right, dude. All right. Sorry.
Like, tell us how you really feel, man. Let's see. Finch also says, I'm gonna need Curtis to give us a clip of Big West doing a snow angel in his next pot of the palace.
I'd put his life in danger.
He's ready for that. We got him dressed up like a damn lumberjack right now. He's in full-on flannel.
Love that.
He's kind of looking the part. I want to take him out there and play around, but it's so cold, man. He's just too little. If it was one of those snows where it happens and it's going to melt within 24 hours and it's kind of already back up over freezing or whatever, sure. But the only one in my household who's brave about all this is Slim the dog. He's out there getting after it, but not me.
When we came to pick you up the other day, I saw his little yellow snow section.
Yeah. Yeah, just to the side of the house, right?
Well, it was funny too because like I posted the video up of my dog Rowdy yesterday, and it's like he's such a diva because he loves the snow, he loves playing in it, but he hates being cold, and so he's just like his mind's in a pretzel. So it's like he loves doing it, and I'm like, see, this sums you up completely. It's like I can't even. You like something, but you don't like something. It's just terrible. But yeah, that's what it's fun things, kids, all of that. But you're right, Curse. It's like if it's like 25 degrees, 28 degrees, still cold, but doable. But this 0 degrees nonsense and wind chill. Get out now. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, we got some super chats. Apologize. Shout out to our guy Dre. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well, Dre. Appreciate it. Oh, hold on a second. Like it. Bang! Bang! You're welcome. Dre says, seeing Mark Pope take an L in Bud Walton Arena would make my year. Dude, I'm going to be in that press conference. I'm going to ask him questions. I'm going to do it. You watch me. I'm going to ask him, like, what type of biblical parable are you going to compare this loss to? Like, just which like enterprise rent-a-car type of corporate lingo are you going to try to use on this one? So that's what I'm going to throw out.
Which mentally ill, phrase are you going to use in this post-game press conference? Like what weird activities are you going to be partaking in?
Yeah. Jeez. Which, by the way, real quick, this is kind of random, but you guys remember last year with Arkansas, Kentucky, they brought Tubby Smith in, to be honored like that. Do you think what if Arkansas brought John Pelfrey in? I know he's probably got a game he's coaching, but I was like, I was thinking that'd be kind of funny if they just like honored him, even though he wasn't that good here and all that, but just to really rub salt in the wound. Like I was trying to think of a player or something that would be any way connected with Kentucky. Like maybe get a Duthero in there. if he's not doing anything.
That'd be cool. Is he on the roster right now?
I don't know.
They're still playing G League.
Yeah, but he's
stuff,
playing
so, yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. Or just get like some of the best Kentucky players. Anthony Davis.
Now
Get him in there.
it wouldn't surprise me if he gets some of the OGs from Kentucky in there for this one.
Yeah.
Some of the guys who aren't playing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we all have to stand up and be like, man, we hated these guys, but like, all right, cool. Like we'll cheer for them. It'll be kind of weird. It's like if they get Willie Cauley-Stein in there, I'm like, no, I don't want to cheer for this guy. Like, but it's for Cal. That's what we do.
Willie Cauley-Stein's like one of the few guys who's like a Kentucky guy.
Yeah.
Or the Harrison twins, throw them in there. But all right, well, Quinn's on one because it's like Voldemort. You mentioned his name, he comes flying in. Quinn's like, appreciate the super chats though, Quinn. It's all in love, Quinn. I'm not talking trash. He says people who want to shovel in the snow never lived in North Texas. In the North, it sucks and the snow sucks. Which
I'm guessing this is a reference to me since I just said that I wished I could shovel snow for my queen. I just wanted to be doing that as a gesture of love. Make no mistake. I definitely don't want to live in a place that snows regularly. We were talking about this the other day. Like I appreciate that in Arkansas, it's like unique. Like you get off work if it snows. You don't have to go anywhere, and it's like we all collectively make it a big deal. I would not want to live in a place where snow is just common practice, where you still have to go to work, still have to go to school, still have to drive your car and do all this. I don't want to be shoveling snow year round, but when there's like a special thing like this, I would like to, get my hands dirty just for 30 minutes or whatever, just, go out there, do my thing. I definitely am not envious of people who live in the snow forever. And I don't want to be those people.
I'm going to have somebody, I'm sure, get mad at me for this, but I'm like, I feel like snow is kind of like when it's Vegas. It's like Vegas is awesome. Snow is awesome. But after about day 3, I'm ready to go back to normal.
Yeah, I'm over it today. For sure. I'm ready for it to get out of here.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right.
Which? Nope. I was just wondering if I could see my road yet, and I can't.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't even really looked outside because I feel like if I look outside, my eyeballs are going to freeze because it's that cold. So
somebody came to plow in Farmington at like a crisp 12:45 a.m. last night. I was like right about to fall asleep. I just hear like right outside my window, and I was like, "Geez, y'all couldn't have done this in the morning."
Yeah. Also, Quinn, a few other super chats. Appreciate it. Goes, Norman is mid, and their fan base online sucks. Well. Quinn, honestly,
is there a fan base you don't have an issue with?
I was going to say which online fan base does not suck. I was going to say that because I feel like every fan base online sucks. Like Arkansas's for sure does. Like it's just part of it.
The online is a huge part of this too. Because I mean, Kentucky fans, like I hate to ruin I hate to break kayfabe in the middle of our game week here, but you go to Lexington and talk to real people. They're completely nice gentlemen, like completely normal people who cheer for Kentucky, love basketball. And even some of those people love Calipari and respect the hell out of him. Like a lot of the real people we talked to were like, yeah, man, I'm glad that like we needed to part ways, but like I am still happy for Cal because that's our guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I know some people that we met last year that are coming to this game on Saturday that are like Arkansas Cal fans. Like they're Kentucky people, but they're Cal fans. Right. So, so shout to Quinn again. He says Florida fans suck. Yeah,
good. Well, at least you got to get one over on him, man.
Quinn was flying high after that win on Saturday. I don't blame him. That was a heck of a win. He was in his bag, man. He's happy.
Nobody had a better week than Auburn, I would say.
Yeah.
Nobody helped themselves more. Nobody solidified their resume more. I mean, hell, they answered a lot of questions about could they go out on the road. I was very impressed with Quinn's boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. Also, Quinn says Vegas is awesome. Vegas is more like cocaine.
Okay.
Thank you, Quinn. Wouldn't know, but I
compared to snow. I was wondering. I was like, what is this?
That's
I don't know.
Great.
Snow's pretty similar to cocaine.
It might be his best yet.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Okay, a few other chats here too, because so Phil brought this up. He says saw a video of Kendrick Perkins going after Cal this morning. Not a fan of that. LOL. Was this a thing? Because I did not see this.
It was. Yeah, it was a thing. I don't have the clip, but it was going to be one of my worst of the weekends. We can talk about it now if you want to, though. It was he did this thing where he was like championing player rights and player choices and like talking about guys who like the Bediako situation. If you can come back and get your bag, come back and get your bag. And he was talking about how I don't even encourage my kids to get to the league anymore. I want them to hurry up and get to college because you can make a few million in college and then be set for life. And he was talking about how Cal and he's hypocrite because he gets $5 million in NIL added on to his, like, I don't even know where he came up with that number. It was like this whole long rant, and he was taking shots at Cal about it. And it was very much the classic, if I'm Cal, I would say, hey, you need to tell your boys not to trip over nickels on their way to 200 million type of conversation. He just completely missed the point and had some mean things to say. It's kind of a douchey little video.
Well, Kendrick Perkins has had a rough career in media, I would argue. I'm sure he's made a ton of money, but like I have not heard one positive review of Kendrick Perkins's analysis, his ability to talk on TV. Like nobody has spoken. You remember when he was breathing heavily into the mic and JJ Redick was like, who is this breathing in the mic into my ear? That was hilarious. But and listen, I actually respect Kendrick Perkins because I mean, listen, he was in the league for a while, and like I almost kind of respect his point of view as a guy that played in the league and was a tough guy or whatever. But I thought he was way off base here, and it was just a straw. Like he was taking something he heard from somebody and just running with it is what it kind of sounded like. But it's weird because he's been championing Darius Acuff. He's been like the biggest Acuff fan, and he's like, listen, I guarantee this guy's a top 5 pick, yada, yada, yada. So then, like, how are you like a huge Acuff guy, but you also don't see how Cal, recruited Acuff, put him in a situation to succeed, and went out, like, I don't know. It's just a very weird thing to me. He
literally said the reason Cal left Kentucky is because Arkansas gave him an extra $5 million in NIL.
That's not true.
It's like one of the first things he said, and I was like, I'm not sure this guy knows what he's talking about. And then he just went off.
When your whole premise for what you're mad about is a made up thing, it's really hard for me to hear anything you have to say. Like even if you make an intelligent point after that, it's really hard to be like, to buy whatever you're selling.
Right.
Oh, I still can't get over the fact he had struggled so much with Moses Moody's name. Like that still to me is what pisses me off. Moody Mo. That's like
that's such a hard pronunciation. Moses Moody.
Exactly. Let's shout out to our guy Dre once again for Super Chat. Appreciate it, man. Says Perkins is the guy at the party that's always there, but no one knows who invited him.
Damn.
Yeah. It's kind of true there, man. It's like he was a Boston Celtic. I think that like very early in his career, and I kind of liked him at first, but then he's just like, I don't know. I think he just liked to have because he had such a mean look to him that he's like, I want to look tougher, but I'm actually not that tough. And that really upset me. So
I remember one time he was tweeting something like anti-KD and was like rattling off some things about KD that were not pleasant. And he played with KD in Oklahoma City, and he used some playoff series as a way to knock. He was like, well, if KD were really that great, he would have beat the Spurs in 2012 or whatever. And KD just tweets at him and is like, well, if our center would have given us more than a whopping 2 and 3, maybe we would have had something to do here. It was one of the funniest things ever.
That's great. All right, a few more because I know we'll get to best and worst of the weekend. But David once says, what is Arkansas's basketball record away from home when inside Arkansas attends? Asking for a friend. This is a good question. Because are you talking about the complete trio, the Trinity? Are we talking? Or are we saying just representation?
Let's go with the Trinity for just a second, just science experiment here. Texas Tech dub.
Yep.
NCAA tournament 2-1.
Yep. Kentucky dub.
4-1. They lost that Auburn game without me. That's not a part of the Trinity. So
that's right. Baylor they lost, and Andrew also wasn't there for that. So me and Curtis were. But you guys were there for TCU. I know that game didn't count, but still, it's like they lost that one. So
we were doing a Venn diagram. I feel like there'd be a lot of dubs in my Venn diagram, in my circle.
They lost. They lost to Illinois when I was there. They beat Michigan at Madison Square Garden when I went.
It's pretty solid.
Pretty good with the full crew.
Let's just determine that tomorrow is the end all be all. If Arkansas wins tomorrow, that officially clinches it. That this trio holds the key to everything.
Yeah, because even if you want to throw in Razorback baseball, we had a pretty good run in that too with us three. If they're postseason and all that. So, but good question. Yes, we are lucky and we are really cool. Let's see. Westside Jacoby says we were minus 10.5 against LSU. The spread won't be that big versus Kentucky.
It probably won't be, but it definitely. If they got popped by Vanderbilt and Arkansas played like a solid game tomorrow, let's say Arkansas wins by 8 tomorrow night and Kentucky loses by 8. I think you're looking at probably a 7, 8, 8.5 point spread.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's going to be It's going to be significant.
I mean, Arkansas just beat Vanderbilt by 193 points. And Vanderbilt may or may not beat Kentucky this week. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know the LSU game was weird, but that also wasn't a typical. It ended up being a great crowd, but I don't think that was getting your actual Bud Walton juice in there.
Right. Brandon says, we're talking as if the Hogs didn't beat Ole Miss in Oxford. Is Oklahoma better than Ole Miss?
Talking as if the Hogs didn't beat Ole Miss in Oxford.
I remember.
I'm pretty sure that Andrew said he made the direct comparison.
Yeah, no, I think
this game will be about the same.
Yeah, they're about the same. And also, like, I don't want what we're saying to be misconstrued as like we're worried that Arkansas can't beat Oklahoma. They absolutely can and should beat Oklahoma. In fact, that's what we were kind of arguing is like, I know it's, tough, trap game, yada, 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 but like, if you're a serious team, you just go take care of business. We think Arkansas is a pretty serious team.
Yeah.
You go take care of business in this one. But if they don't, I think that would be a pretty strong indicator that Arkansas has a real issue of getting up for games away from Bud Walton Arena.
True. But to answer your question, Oklahoma did beat Ole Miss by 16 points in the SEC opener.
Yeah.
So
Ole Miss is their last win.
I mean,
that's crazy, but yeah, I do remember that now. Again, I know we'll have some more chats and best worst of the weekend, but I don't know. Guys, do you remember, hopefully you do, remember what you predicted Arkansas's SEC record to be for your preseason predictions? Like
13-5, maybe?
Yeah.
I think I said 14-4 or 15-3 because, I'm that guy. I'm just telling you, if Arkansas goes 2-0 this week, they better go 2-0 the next week. All right. I'm just saying, if that happens, that's 4 straight. I'm going to feel pretty good about my prediction. It's not means it's for sure going to happen, but
who's the other one after Mississippi State?
It's at LSU. Surely not, right? Surely not. Should.
It's not going to be a fun game. Listen, I do think Arkansas is going to play better, and I think they'll have they should still win that one, but not going to be a fun one at all.
No. In fact, I guess because I forgot that after Kentucky's their week off or their bye week, if you want to call it that. So
they'll have them batteries recharged. It'll be good. Yeah.
So I'll be feeling pretty good about it at least. So, all right, just more appreciate super chats and bias Brim, man. It's been a while, Brim.
Oh,
says hashtag inside a good luck charm. Hashtag WPS 20-5 soon incoming.
It's possible. It's crazy, but it's possible that they could get there. Like they're going to be favored in enough games in a row here moving forward to get to 20-5.
Yeah, because even Jancy says, does 14-4 win the league outright this season?
Probably.
I think it does.
A&M, I mean, they're in a great spot right now. They're going to take on some water here. Florida just picked up their second loss, and that was kind of a reminder for Florida because it looked like for a minute there, didn't it? Where we're like, oh, damn, yeah, they're back. They're going to, run off and leave everybody with this thing. But a reminder, when you play a team that's athletic and has some guys on the perimeter who are skilled, and then you have Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee out there, you can get got for sure. Like Auburn laid out the blueprint for like if Arkansas were to go to Florida and win that game, that's how you do it. Like you've got to combat thunder with lightning, and that's kind of exactly how Arkansas is built. Yeah, Florida's going to lose some more games too. 14-4, I think will do it this year.
You at least set yourself up to where the game at Florida is pretty much like could wind up just being the SEC championship. John, hit the buzzer. We got breaking news.
Forgot which one I used for this. I'll just do it.
There you go. Darius Acuff has tied the SEC record with his 6th Freshman of the Week honor. He averaged 24 points and 5.5 assists, leading Arkansas to 2 wins on the week. That is now tied. So let's see. He's tied with, Brandon Knight, misspelled here in this press release, Bradley Beal, Jabari Smith, Brandon Miller, and James Robinson of Alabama.
Hell yeah.
Incredible.
I'm glad. I was slightly concerned that they were going to go Nate Ament.
Yeah.
Because he had 29 at Bama, but that was the only game they played. I was stumping for it this morning in the pod. I was like, they better not. You better give it to Acuff. So good on them. Yeah. They made the right decision.
And does it say, I that's what's funny about it. I feel like in the Arkansas release, it never says if there's a co in it. I feel like, but then, or at least not in the headline, but there's no co, right? At least as far as we know, it's just he won the freshman of the week. No co-freshman of the week. Because I'm always wondering about that because sometimes the U of A leaves that little detail. Okay, good.
The player of the week is Nate Ament, who weirdly enough, or wait,
Oh, hey,
they split it. Him and Keyshawn Hall, Nate Amin and Keyshawn Hall split player of the week, and then Acuff wins freshman of the week alone.
okay. Well, then let me ask you guys this question: would you rather Darius Acuff have gotten the co-player of the week or the solo freshman of the week?
Solo freshman.
Okay, all right.
Especially because we got a bit going here with him winning freshman of the week a lot. He now ties the record. I also think like once he breaks the record, because at some point in the rest of the year, he's going to have 1 week where he wins it. Once he officially breaks the record, I think that solidifies him as the SEC freshman of the year and maybe the freshman of the millennium.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because this is now, because what was the record was 5 straight. He tied the record for 5 straight, right? Where he won it and then took a week off. 6 total. And he's going to win another one, guys. Like, and I think that'll break the record if I'm not mistaken.
This time next week, we'll be like, oh, wow, congratulations.
Yeah. Which, man, okay. This is a whole thing. I know we'll get to best and worst of the weekend, but I talk about my locked on and I've had some pushback on it. I'm ready to dub Darius Acuff the best Razorback basketball player of this millennium. Is that too premature?
Player or freshman?
Yes. Player. Not even freshman, just player.
I'm ready to have the conversation.
Okay.
I think Bobby Portis would have a pretty good argument for you only because he played 2 seasons, won SEC Player of the Year, and was, the best player on a team that was a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. Acuff is about to do something like that. And hell, he might win SEC Player of the Year as well. But I think you need to let Acuff finish the year before I can definitively say he's a better Razorback than Bobby Portis.
Because it feels like Acuff, and he might win Player of the Year, but worst case, he's SEC Freshman of the Year, first team All SEC. Can he get on an All-American team? Why not? And then if Arkansas really makes a run here, he'd have a compelling argument, man. I was looking at some of that, just like from a scoring perspective and everything, not just freshmen. There hasn't been a Razorback freshman to average over 20 a game, but like he's up there with his scoring right now with like peak Mason Jones and peak Corliss. Like he's doing some pretty impressive stuff, man.
What helps also is that Mason Jones did not win an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis won 1 NCAA tournament game. I think he just went 1-1 in that NCAA tournament that year. And you think about the teams that Arkansas had this since 2000 that have won a lot of tournament games. They didn't really have players that would be in this conversation. Like Moses Moody is not in this conversation, I wouldn't say. JD Note is not quite in the conversation, I don't think, even though he probably has he's adjacent in this conversation. But I don't think is anybody going to argue that Darius Acuff's not as good as JD Note? Probably not. So I think if he wins like 1 NCAA tournament game and just finishes out the year with pretty good numbers that he's done so far, I think it's only a matter of time before we officially declare him the best since Corliss.
Yeah, and that's why I've made sure to put it as this millennium, because I know people are going to bring up Corliss and all that, which I agree. The guy was a champion and won NCAA tournament MVP and all that. But the reason I'm giving it to him, and again, I can hear arguments. It's not like there's just no argument to it. It's just like, man, all the factors that you guys played into it, and just seeing him doing it to where he doesn't look like a freshman. There was times, and I know there's a lot of season left. Things can happen. A rock could fall on his head and he can't play. Anything can happen. But it's there were times where Moses Moody is a great player. There were times he looked like a freshman. There were games where it's like, hey, he looks like a freshman. Even in the NCAA tournament, that was one of the things against him is he didn't play very well. Same thing with whether it's Anthony Black. There were times he looked like a freshman. Jordan Walsh, players like that were phenoms as freshmen.
Still looks like a freshman.
Yeah, he still looks like a freshman. But it's like Darius Acuff. I have not once this season looked at that guy on the court on TV and just be like, man, that's definitely a freshman. It's like, no, he's just that level, and that's why I think it kind of takes precedent on it to me. And again, he could fall off, he could start playing terribly, and hopefully I didn't just jinx him. But it's like just where it stands right now, and if he keeps up what he's doing right now. The guy's averaging a 3-to-1 turnover ratio. And I looked up Derrick Rose's numbers his freshman year, guys. Darius Acuff has blown Derrick Rose out of the water in every single stat. Now, I know it's the tournament. You got to get to that. But Derrick Rose only averaged 15 points a game. Mm-hmm. He averaged 4 assists to 2 turnovers a game. His 3-point percentage was 37%. Acuff's got him beat in every one of those regards. And so that's where I guess I look at it also from that perspective, where that's the case. But we could all agree he's the best freshman by far this millennium, right?
Yeah.
Like that's no doubt. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And it's impressive, man. Like he's outstatted John Wall.
Yeah.
But you know, it's different eras, different teams, different supporting casts, all that stuff plays into it. And so it's not even a knock on those guys so much. It's just adding a little bit of perspective to the individual season that he's having is so special. Hell, guys, if Darius Acuff wasn't on this basketball team, we would be having, maybe to a lesser degree, but the same conversations about Malik Thomas. Like, look at his scoring, look at his 3-point shooting, look at where he ranks. And he'd be in that discussion. We wouldn't be like, oh, he's definitively the best freshman Arkansas has ever had. But we'd be like, is he top 5? You know, where does he rank amongst these guys? And he's getting completely overshadowed because of how good Acuff has been. It's been a hell of a lot of fun to watch. What he did in the second half of that game the other day was special. We haven't seen anything like that in a long time. I understand it was against LSU, but my God, he made 10 shots in a row and really put the team on his back. And then, you know, like he got the assist going too. He scored or assisted on 36 out of their 52 points in the second half. Highly efficient. He didn't play much defense throughout the game, but he had the 2 blocks there, you know, when it really mattered. And that was crazy, man.
To make 10 shots in a row, with most of them being pretty high difficulty shots. Like, it wasn't like he was just, you know, a center getting rebounds and having wide open dunks. Like, he's out here creating shots off the dribble and then doing it at such a highly efficient rate. I mean, we talk a lot about the guards that Calipari has coached. Let's just take it to overall players that Calipari has coached, and we'll stick to the freshmen. Anthony Davis is the one guy that's like untouchable in this conversation because he was the national player of the year and won the national title. And so if Acuff wants to be better than that, that's a pretty high bar right there. But like, really, outside of that, there's not really players that Cal has coached that have definitively accomplished more in their one season of college basketball than Darius Acuff could do. Because you mentioned John Wall and some of these guys that are up there. Statistically, Acuff's right there with him, whether it's Julius Randle, whoever. And the list is crazy because, I mean, SGA, you know, people don't really think of him as a great college player, but I mean, he might be the best player in the league right now. Darius Acuff accomplished more in his freshman year than him. Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle, whoever, like all these guys, Darius Acuff has accomplished more. It's really just Anthony Davis that we can't have that conversation about. That's the only player Cal's coached that it's like not a debate.
And it's also easy and it's understandable for when you make comparisons like that, folks to be like, what do you mean? Comparing him to John Wall? What do you mean comparing him to this guy, that guy? What are you talking about? And the truth is, we probably didn't feel this way about some of those guys, you know, in the moment. If Darius Acuff gets drafted in the lottery, like I think he will, and he winds up having a good NBA career and he's made a couple all-star games, whatever. And then we look up 5 years down the road and then contextualize the season that he's had in college compared to those other guys. It could be a completely different conversation. So for everyone out there who's like, it's ridiculous, you're overhyping him, there's levels to this, whatever. Well, we won't really know for sure until we get down the road and see how the career plays out.
You know how I know you're right about this, Curtis? I remember when Shea went through a stretch when he was at Kentucky where once they moved him to the starting lineup, people started doing this thing where they were like, since January 1st, Shea has averaged 19 and 7 or whatever. And he was starting to be compared to some of those guys. And I remember people thinking it was blasphemous that people were talking about this Canadian skinny kid and comparing him to John Wall and Derrick Rose. But now you look back at it and you're like, Shea's way better than those guys ever were. And it kind of looks crazy. And I'm not saying it's going to happen with Darius, but you're definitely onto something in terms of how Darius could actually make this look even better in 5 years.
Yeah. And final point here, because I know we'll get to best worst, but when we were kind of following the game and Acuff was going on that run, we always talk about, who do you want to take the last shot? I don't know if you guys, I think you guys have seen like The Last Dance, the documentary, and they, on that final shot that Michael Jordan hit against the Jazz, the documentary, they asked Scottie Pippen's like, what was your thoughts on that final play? He says, get the hell out of the way. It's like, that's the only thing I was thinking is like, just get out of the way. And that's kind of how I feel about Acuff now, where if the game's on the line, because I feel like there's going to be a time where Arkansas is going to have the ball, final possession, game on the line. It's like, I don't care if he passes it. I don't care if he shoots it. I don't care if it goes to the rack. I don't care. I just want him to have the ball, nobody else, and he gets to decide what to do. And that's a player that you It's like, again, you have great players, but that's the type of player that you can't really like overemphasize the importance of them and the impact that they have. So, yep. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our best and worst of the weekend, presented by our friends over at Bet Saracen. It's the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas, and they already got specials. They already got great things going on when it comes to Arkansas and Oklahoma, taking place tomorrow night in Norman. They have player specials. They have the prop plays. They have the things of, hey, who's going to score first? Who's going to do all of that? And you need to get on it because it's #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas for a reason, because it is the best. And the best thing about it is we have an exclusive code with us here at Inside Arkansas that if you click the link below in our description or you scan that QR code right there on your screen, it's going to take you to download the app. And when you download the app, be sure to use code INSIDEAR250. That's INSIDEAR250, because when you do that, you bet $25, you get $250. That's right, $250 in free bets that you get to use however you want by simply using the code INSIDEAR250. So again, scan that QR code, click the link in the description below, bet $25 and get $250 by using the code INSIDEAR250. All right, guys. So for my best of the weekend, hopefully I didn't steal it from one of you guys. I got a couple of them that we may or may not get to, but just shout out to Tennessee in this tweet, because I forget the fact that they won. This was outstanding work by them, because we all know about the story of Alabama and Bediako, and he actually played well against Tennessee, or against Alabama. He played good for Alabama against Tennessee. He had a good game and all that, but Tennessee got the dub. They got the victory, and it was a big one for them, especially winning in Alabama. And the fact that they just put out this tweet talking, like, tagging this Blue Coats, the G League team, saying you're next. Like, I appreciate the social media work where it's like, is this appropriate? Is this going to be? Nope, because everybody was a volunteer fan, I think, for the most part, except for Bama fans that day. So I saw that. Outstanding work, great social media work. Give that person a raise, whoever it was. That was awesome stuff, and loved seeing that. So
did you see the Blue Coats responded with the 50 cent?
Yes. Yes.
That was pretty good, man. Yeah. And the dude looked pretty good for Alabama. Yeah. That's one of the things, like some of these guys who have come back from the G League or whatever and played or barely played, they just haven't really looked the part. So the conversation kind of fizzled out and died. Bediako looked good, and he looks like somebody who could really help Alabama. We'll see what happens with this hearing and everything tomorrow, but was very happy to see Tennessee get that one done. Yeah, I very rarely root for the Volunteers in anything, but certainly was in that game. All the discourse around that was wild. And yeah, I mean, obviously I wanted to bring that up too, but one that I appreciated was, Nate Oates and Alabama fans, really, they just, any way that they can deflect the real reason why people are ticked off about this, they'll use. Like, I've seen the screenshots of, here's every international professional in the SEC, and they're listing like Elmer for Arkansas, and it's like, okay. But I thought this was hilarious. Nate Oates tried to do it, and he brought up our guy, Nick Pringle. And so it was just like a tweet from whatever reporter says, Nate Oates brings up that Nick Pringle was a junior when Charles Bediako was a sophomore at Alabama, and that Pringle has been in the SEC longer than Bediako. And Pringle replied and just said, caught a stray.
I guess I missed the part where Nick Pringle declared the NBA draft and then missed the deadline and all that. But
exactly, yeah,
whatever,
completely
man.
Different sets of circumstances here. There are old heads in this game. Cal likes to talk about it every single day, but I love that Pringle saw that and just like, dang, he caught a stray, man. Took it in stride.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hate this situation, and that's, I think, what's what bothers me probably more than anything is just, maybe that's part of my worst of the week. It was just the justifications and the hula hoops that Bama people and coaches are jumping through to try to justify this. And I'm like, maybe just be like, maybe we're wrong if 99.9% of the people out there, like, not everybody's going to be right, but maybe you're just wrong in this situation. Just come out and say, hey, we were not doing great. I like the fact that we could add a guy that's really good and older that could be helping us out as a basketball team to win games, and that's why I added him. Don't give me the academic crap. Like, that's just stupid. So that's great though.
I agree 100%. One other quick one that I wanted to throw in there, because I feel like we've had some Ed Cooley segments here recently,
yes, we have.
For like the dumb things he does or says, the Georgetown basketball coach. But shout out to him. Went back to Providence with his Georgetown team. They don't like him over there because of the way that he left, and it was a nasty, chaotic environment. And his team got down by 21. They rallied and won the game. So, like, if I'm gonna poo-poo on Ed Cooley for hitting a kid in the face with a water bottle and comparing losing basketball games at Georgetown to World War III and everything else. I will give him credit where it's due. His team stinks. He's probably going to lose his job soon. But for them to come back and win that game, I just thought was funny, and it made me laugh.
I bet it was a rowdy atmosphere there at the Amica Mutual Pavilion. Because I think they do like the $2 hot dogs, $2 beers or whatever on the weekends. I'm in Providence. I know it was crazy the first time he came back. I bet they were pretty rowdy. So I mean, that's a pretty impressive one there.
Yeah, what do you got, Andrew?
My best of the weekend. It's not even as much about the event itself, more so just that fighting is back in my life. The UFC returned a 6-week hiatus, which when you do 50 events a year or whatever, 6 weeks with no fights, it left me fiending, man. I was ready to see some violence. And it was, of course, the UFC's debut on Paramount Plus, which I am thrilled about. Curtis, did you get a chance to watch the event when it happened?
No.
Well, dude, so obviously it's the pay-per-view model is over. So the days of having to pay $80, and guys like us, we would always illegally stream or whatever, but it's so much better not having to do the weird illegal stream thing, just being able to turn on Paramount and it's there. Everybody was complaining about ads, and I'm just like, I don't love it. I don't love that instead of staying in the corner, during the rounds, they would stay and like film the corner usually. Now they do like the split screen, do an ad thing. People are like really mad about it. I'm like, we can watch these things for free. I'm all good, man. But it was a fun time. My guy Sugar Sean, of course, gets back in the win column. Love to see that. Y'all know when you're watching a football game and it becomes high scoring and you think, oh, the final score is 56-52, and you're like, oh, that must have been the best game ever. But if you watched it, you're kind of like, you know what, this is just bad defense. You kind of know you're not really watching a great offensive showing. That's how the main event was for the UFC, where like it was like 200 strikes landed on each side. Patty and Justin Gaethje going to war, and credit to Patty the Brit, man. He had to eat some bombs. He was getting beat up bad. He they took him straight to the hospital after, but he survived, and Justin Gaethje wins, and it was a fun time. I had a great time.
Well, for my worst of the weekend, I'm sorry for everybody in advance, but this, I don't even care. I'm not even going to set it up. This is my worst of the weekend.
First of all, taking 2 deep shots a quarter, I'd probably be a little bit disappointed in that, David. Right? Honestly, we're a 2-back run-oriented play-action shot football team that's going to take great pride in pushing the ball down the field. We want to travel and we want to push the ball down the field at least 3 times a quarter. And that means the ball traveling in the air 25 yards or more 3 times a quarter.
I can't do it anymore. All right. So
thank you.
Yeah, Chad Morris is back and he was doing this stuff. And it cracked me up because I quote tweeted the guy, the Clemson outlet that posted, he's like, the moment that Chad Morris silenced all the doubters with that, I'm like, my bud, man, come on now. Like, this is the guy that said, hey, we, after 1 full year in offseason, we got 30% of the offense installed. It's like, and that's going to impress you. And I was like, maybe look at what he's done for the past, I don't know, 7 years and be like silence the doubters. What? I just saw it. I'm like, oh, it's made my skin crawl once again.
What a PR week it was. PR day it was for Clemson football, man. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That was triggering me the entire time. I'm glad you didn't go all the way through that. Thank you. Thank you.
Not doing it. Not doing it.
He shouldn't have used the exact same terminology. He didn't say hammer down left lane, but when he did the play action shot football team and all that, and I was like, holy cow, I cannot believe he said that. Like, does he think that Clemson fans don't have access to his opening press conference at Arkansas?
I mean, probably not, but I will say, because I wanted to bring up and we're not gonna have time, but the whole Dabo breakdown that went 9 minutes of him almost doing like what was it Al Davis when he fired Lane Kiffin, doing like the breakdown for a full press conference and like slides and all that. It's pretty great. But yeah, it was quite the PR stuff. In fact, shout out to Dabo for doing that, because that's probably what took away from the fact that you had Chad Morris, because that was the whole ordeal is that people were talking about. So
I would try to steal the spotlight back too if I was him.
But I'm sure Clemson will go really well. And I'll just say this: Dabo's not going to be the head coach of Clemson after this season, because we all know there's a poison that happens, because it happened with Gus Malzahn, it happened with others. It's just going to happen there. So that was my worst of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that certainly qualifies there. Kind of already talked about mine, which is the whole Kendrick Perkins thing there. I hate when people have such strong opinions and they want to go on there and just really say it with their chest without really having an understanding of, anything that's really going on there. So that was annoying. We talked about it a lot. I was just laughing at everybody who was throwing their super chats in there and everything, making fun of Perkins. Quinn obviously got in on it. He's not smart. Needs to get on a treadmill. Dre was in there talking about it, but I think he just completely missed the point with some of the things that he had to say there. Whatever. I'm over it.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm with you with like, when you're trying to tear someone down, at least do it for a valid reason. At least have sound reasoning or whatever. If your whole premise is made up, it's really tough. I don't know if this is, and I don't have too many worsts of the weekend. Honestly, this isn't that bad. I got to be honest, just as a casual NFL fan whose team is already eliminated, and perhaps I'm a little bit butthurt, but I'm kind of underwhelmed by the Super Bowl matchup that we now have. Patriots versus Seahawks, which we saw not that long ago, which did actually give us one of the best Super Bowl moments ever. I feel like that interception on the goal line and didn't hand it off to Marshawn. That's an iconic moment. You're running it back with the two franchises, but none of the interesting characters along the way. Like Drake May versus Sam Darnold. Both of those guys have had tremendous seasons. They are good quarterbacks that are having great years. I commend them. I congratulate them, and wish them luck. But like, who is psyched to watch Drake May versus Sam Darnold?
Not I.
You know what I mean?
Not
like
me.
that's just a little bit of a tough one. And Mike Vrabel, he's done a great job, but like I wouldn't say he's he didn't have that allure of a Bill Belichick or a Pete Carroll. Like these two coaches are great young guys, but it's like I just feel like there's a lack of star power in the Super Bowl matchup, which is not a like flaw in the league or a flaw in the system. It just kind of sucks. Like imagine if we had done the college football playoff and you just had like Utah versus, I can't even think of like Utah versus Boston College. It would have just been like, all right, this sucks. Like we shouldn't rig the system to make sure this doesn't happen, but this does kind of suck that two teams that no one cares about made the Super Bowl. I mean, it'll probably be a fun game. We're all going to watch it. We'll all watch Bad Bunny and we'll all like it, but I'm a little bit underwhelmed by the Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah, because it kind of reminds me of when it was like Brad Johnson versus Rich Gannon in the Super Bowl of like 2002 with the Bucks and Raiders. It's kind of like whatever. It kills me just because it's like, hey, great to see a former Jets draft pick quarterback playing in the Super Bowl and not being with the Jets. I mean, it's great. It's awesome. And then it's also the division rival of the Patriots. So like, it adds into the mix. But still, yeah, I'm not too psyched about it. But I did see, I don't know if you saw it, the preseason little graphic that the NFL put up of like all 32 teams are all in. The players that were in, like they had like the back of the jerseys of the quarterbacks. The players that were the furthest ahead that you could barely see were these two exact quarterbacks. Like that's how
had, like,
little
Shedeur Sanders ahead of him in the graphic.
Yes. So it was like, it was brutal. It was brutal. So, all right. A few more chats here, folks. Appreciate it. Everybody coming in. In fact, Devin's over here saying, I'll be coming into Norman tomorrow. Hopefully we can take over Lloyd Noble like our fans do at their baseball park in the dominant 2009 regional. So that's a throwback. But I think we will have that. I think there'll be plenty of Hog fans making the trip, especially getting on stir crazy. People trying to get out and do something there too. Mm-hmm. Quinn's on one again. He says, I have you guys going 13-5 and finishing second. And I have us going 12-6. His team's Auburn and finishing third.
Who do you have winning it?
I would say you saying Florida's going to do it.
Florida, maybe.
Yeah,
probably.
Maybe. That'd be the safe bet. Surely it couldn't be anybody else because he ain't going to say Bama. He's not going to say.
God, no.
Yeah, so it's like it's going to have to be one of those.
Also, doesn't Auburn have like 4 or 5 losses in SEC play?
Auburn, I think they're 4-3.
Okay, they're 4-3.
Yeah.
They're 4-3. Missouri's 4-3. Georgia's 4-3. Vanderbilt's 4-3. So quite a few 4-3s there. Quinn also says, I think it should be based off college when comparing how they did in college. Acuff is probably a better collegiate player than Wall was.
Agreed.
So,
but people can't have that conversation because you can't eliminate what you've seen in the league.
Exactly.
And that's why everybody, and that's the point I was trying to make, is that's why I can't even remember who it was that like put the side by side out there, and then Kentucky fans are just crapping on him like, you're an idiot, you don't know ball and all that. Well, if you just forget everything that John Wall did in the league and you just look at it here, then yes, there's a discussion to be had. And like we said, John Wall's supporting cast entirely different than Darius Acuff's, and it's a different era. There's a lot of considerations there, but Acuff dominant statistically in the comparison, it's at least notable.
I think there's also, now I'm really thinking about it, because was it Brandon Knight that played, or no, it was Bledsoe, Eric Bledsoe, that was with John Wall, right? He was like the sixth man on that team. I think that's an inch, because Eric Bledsoe, of course, played in the league for 8 or 10 years or whatever. I think we'll be able to look back and have an interesting conversation of like Malik Thomas and Darius Acuff versus John Wall, Eric Bledsoe. And by the way, Eric Bledsoe, one of my least favorite NBA players of the last decade, hated that guy. Could not believe he stuck in the league as long as he did. I think Malik Thomas could have a better career than Eric Bledsoe. And so if Acuff is anywhere even remotely close to John Wall, makes an all-star game or two, I think there's actually it's a lot closer than people realize, I would imagine.
For sure. Also, Quinn says Nate Oates is trash and that university is corrupt. This is what Auburn has had to deal with for over 60 years.
To be fair, we've had to deal with it too. I mean, we got to play them every year too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think everybody's corrupt a little bit. I'm just saying, Cam Newton, Quinn. I'm just saying. Joffre 501 also super chat. Appreciate you guys. We're surprised that a coach who told us it's not his responsibility to know what his players are doing outside of practice has integrity. Oates sucks. Yeah. Well, my biggest thing with Oates was just the again, talking about academics, and then also him saying, like, we're just doing what the judge ordered to do. I'm like, the judge did not say you have to play this guy on your team. Like, what does that mean? He's like, we're just following the judge's orders. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like he was held at gunpoint to start to play the guy 25 minutes.
Yeah. Like, that's another thing too. Is like, just stop trying to piss on everyone's leg and tell them it's raining. It's so stupid.
I love how he opened with like, it's the system's broken and I'm all for, putting our collective heads together and figuring out a solution to get back on track. But in the meantime,
it's so stupid, man. A few other things here too. Oh, Mark It Down. We officially became a YouTube member. So
I like it. Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you being a member. Hickory Hog also says, can we talk about draft experts saying Acuff isn't big enough, but yet Tyler Tanner, great value Beckham Black, is top 10?
So I actually have a rant on this a little bit because I figured I've cracked the code. Not crack the code, but I at least understand why these things happen. So if you follow draft Twitter, and there's so many different guys that do draft stuff, the draft guys really pride themselves on finding these diamonds in the rough and these guys who have specific traits and specific things that yield itself to, nice progression over the course of a long time. And Tyler Tanner early in the year was like your classic diamond in the rough because he was coming off. I mean, his freshman year, he didn't do anything. He was not a prospect at all. And so he's gone to a point where, like, I think early on, it was very fair to look at his production and say, hey, wow, this is a guy that nobody's talking about. He's a legit NBA draft prospect. And all these draft guys have agreed on that. And now they've just gone way overboard where they've gone from he's a diamond in the rough, but it's like they're using him so much because they found these little traits that they like. And they like that he's 6 foot tall and dunks and block shots and steals the passes and all that. And he does all these things that are better than his measurables, which are things you should be looking for as a draft guy. You don't have to put him in the lottery because of that, though. Because I do think there's a lot of value in a lot of the things Tyler Tanner does well. I think he does play bigger than his size sometimes. I think he has some athleticism that could translate to the NBA. And I think if he's 3-point shots legit, he's going to stick in the league. But, like, I think people are going a little overboard with it because they love the numbers so much. And now that he's playing better competition, the numbers are coming down to earth a little bit. And I just think that they're using him to knock on Acuff, and I don't really get it.
Yeah. I don't understand it either, but I think he's just going to continue to prove his doubters wrong. A few more here, Quinn. Appreciate the super chats, man. He goes, Andrew, it's deeper than that. If it was up to them, Auburn University wouldn't exist. You don't understand all the corruption of that school.
I'm confused as to what I did. What did I say?
I guess it was because you said, like, we've had to put up with them too and stuff. So
gotcha.
Just saying, like, yeah. Which, I mean, I don't disagree
famously
with you.
Underreported, the Auburn-Alabama rivalry. People don't understand it.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Quinn. Love how Andrew gets a $5 one, but I get the $2. Okay, that's fine. No, I'm just messing with you, Quinn. He says, John, show me the proof the FBI couldn't find bleep. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, John, where's your proof?
Yeah. My proof is that he 100% was asking Mississippi State for $180,000. They didn't give it to him. That's proven. But you're telling me he went to Auburn for free. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So either way.
Remember when Cam Newton threw his laptop out the back window because they were coming to his dorm to find it, and he threw it out the back window? Yep. Legendary move.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's no issues there. So either way. Well, guys, final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day.
Yeah, a couple for all the Kentucky fans who have come in here preemptively to try to lessen the blow by saying you're down 3 players. You could start by not recruiting players who are already injured and basing the success of your season off of that. And also, nobody feels sorry for you when you flaunt a $22 million payroll and you went out and got 15 guys. You went and recruited the depth to be able to sustain that. It sucks. I hate it for the guys, but that's not a crutch that you get to lean on this season. Sorry about you. And also, if you want to argue about it more, join us for Inside SEC Basketball Live tonight at 8 o'clock.
Definitely want to echo that. Join us tonight at 8 o'clock. We're going to be talking SEC basketball, which I am looking forward to, man. I feel better and better as the sample size gets bigger about just kind of how we feel about some of these teams. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to what should be another fun week of basketball and a lot of rivalry talk.
That's right. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, because the SEC is heating up. I mean, we're almost the midway point of the SEC season. And so we're starting to see some teams. Actually, I needed a reason to play this real quick.
Separation.
So you're going to have some separation made in the SEC. So, yeah, it's going to start making it all happen. So be sure to tune in tonight at 8 p.m. for the Inside SEC Basketball live stream with Curtis and Andrew. And, of course, we're going to have all of that and all of the content when it comes to Razorback sports, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live Pod at the Palace, the Bombastic Podcast, Inside Arkansas Recruiting. We're up to date on all of it when it comes to Razorback football, basketball, baseball. So be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube. Check out all of our social medias and check out where all of our audio podcasts are found. You can find it. So that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson and intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. See you then.